Hello and good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. My name, as always, is Stephen Perlin, and I am here enjoying the sunshine at the Vestal Rail Trail today. Why am I outside of the Vestal Rail Trail? Well, finally the weather is beautiful. We're getting a little warmer, slowly but surely. We're getting there. But also, we're here to talk about something very important, and definitely comes in handy around this time of year: skin protection and skin cancer awareness. So obviously, we love the sun. Who doesn't love getting out, getting warm, feeling those sun rays on your skin? But we also have to be very careful, because as much as the sun feels good, it's also doing damage to our skin, causing several different diseases, including skin cancer and melanoma. That's why we're here. We're going to give you some important information. I'm joined today by Dr. Gene Sienkiewicz, UHS dermatologist, and I might have butchered your last name there. Do you want to fix that for me?
Perfect.
All right, we're going with perfect. Great. Well, he's here with us today, and he's going to lend some insight into the importance of sun safety and what we can do to protect ourselves. Thank you for joining us today, Doctor. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. It is a beautiful day, and we're glad to be out in the sun finally. What you mentioned about enjoying the outdoors for our general health and for fun is important, and just use common sense to protect yourself against the sun's damaging rays. So the normal things we see with aging, like wrinkling, brown spots, loss of elasticity, various little growths on your skin, those are all products of sun exposure. And then about 1 in every 5 people is going to get some kind of skin cancer. It's the most common cancer in people. And so you have the...
Yeah, well, like you said, it's obviously one of the most common, but what's great news, I would say, is that it's also one of the most preventable, which is kind of why we're here, to give you a little bit more insight. But I think that's the most important point, that if you walk away with something today, it's preventable. So you could do a lot, and that's what we're going to talk about. But let's start by talking about what skin cancer is, melanoma, what are we dealing with, and, what are these diseases?
Right. Well, the 3 most common skin cancers are basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma, in that order. And they can appear as any kind of new growth, anything from a bump to a red spot that keeps growing, a little spot that keeps bleeding and scabbing for no reason, just by rubbing with a towel or when you're washing your skin. It'll heal up and then start again. So sometimes the signs are subtle. With the melanoma, it's usually a mole that starts as a new mole, not necessarily an old one, and begins to change. And the easiest way for a person to find a melanoma on themselves or a family member is the ugly duckling rule, which is, when you look at all your moles, most people have a dozen or two. If there's one that stands out, that looks different, like it doesn't belong to you, and it's got maybe irregular edges or multiple colors, that's the one that you want to get checked.
That's interesting, and that's good to know, because I know we're always supposed to watch out for moles, but I mean, with all the moles and freckles, you're not really always sure which one to look out for. And obviously those other signs are good to know too, so that you can pay attention as you're checking your body and whatnot. Now, obviously we just talked about what it is, but this is something we also talk about, how being easily preventable. So talk to me, what can we be done to prevent this disease? Obviously we're out in the sun, we're enjoying the sun. What should we be doing?
So as much as you can, try to avoid purposely sunning yourself in direct sun. Now, obviously, you want to enjoy your outdoor activities, so when you're about that, you use common sense protection. Cover up as much as you can with clothing. That's inexpensive, something that's comfortable depending on the temperature, and then apply some kind of sun protective lotion or cream or spray to protect the exposed skin. And the most common areas that develop skin cancer are usually people's faces, ears, necks, and forearms. Those are the most highly exposed. And a lot of people ask me, which sunscreen should I use? And the answer is, whichever one feels good to you and you're willing to wear. Depending on your activity, you may not like a greasy one, or you may not like one that runs in your eyes or something like that. So whatever is good to you aesthetically, and you're willing to use, is what you should use.
And now, just to kind of confirm that, so you want to be dressing light, you want to have you want to be covering yourself up, but obviously you don't want to dress too heavy if you're going to be in the hot sun. You don't want to overheat yourself. Even bucket hats, there's visors, a million different ways you can protect your head. I know I'm doing that a lot. And then most importantly, obviously sunscreen. And now something that's always been questioned to me, or maybe probably a lot of people out there watching, is when it comes to sunscreen, SPF. It's on the bottle. We're like, oh, we have SPF 50, there's SPF 30, but what does it all mean, and what should we be looking for? Is it all about just getting the highest SPF? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, higher SPFs in general are more effective. You can use less of whatever product it is, the higher the SPF you have. And the sun protection factor just means how many times longer you can be in the sun without getting burnt with the product on as opposed to without it.
And even when you do put suntan lotion on to start, you also want to continue to apply it. It's not just a one and done thing. So you put it on in the morning and you're set all day. You get sweaty, you get wet, it might rub off a little bit. So you always want to reapply it midday or just be safe to make sure that you have enough on there.
Right. Those are things that would make it come off and need reapplication, particularly sweating and swimming.
Yeah. All right, so we threw a lot of good information at you today. Is there anything else you want to make sure that they know?
Enjoy yourself and don't stay indoors to avoid the sun, but use your common sense protection and have a good summer.
All right. So thank you very much for joining us today. Like as we said, you got to be safe. The sun is great and it feels nice, but you also want to protect yourself because you don't want to end up with something like skin cancer. Easily preventable, so you just got to take those steps. We hope you take a lot of tips from this today. You get out there and you enjoy that sun, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us again. You have a good one, everybody.